It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Nothing motivates us more than working incredibly hard towards buying our brand new dream house, or maybe that brand new set of wheels. And once we have our dream home and that car, it doesn't end there. You surely want to do everything you can to protect your treasured assets, and they are exactly that, assets. Well, luckily, with car and home insurance, you can protect what matters most to you. And here to tell us a bit more about how exactly to do that, what are some of the pitfalls if we don't, Charmaine Scott from Standard Bank Insurance Brokers. Charmaine, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Graham.
To continue a very important conversation, unfortunately, one of those that we don't often have internally. We don't want to broach these things because we don't want to think about the unforeseen, think about the worst case scenario. And maybe it's quite an emotional thing. We've got the new car, we worked so hard for it. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. We've got our new home. You don't want to, or we often caught up in that, the romance of it, before we think about the repercussions if something negative happens. Let's start with the education first. Car and home insurance. What exactly is that?
Okay, well, car and home insurance covers exactly what it says. It will cover your car. And then if you want to cover your home, that would cover all the contents of your home. And the kind of things you would be covered for is, there's a very long list, but it's fire, lightning, explosions, storm, theft, malicious damage, accidental damage, and those are the general things that are covered.
Life happening.
Yes.
How do you know what the right, because this is probably one of the most stimulated spaces when we look at insurance. How do we know that we've got the right kind of cover for ourselves and our kind of stage of life, if you will?
Okay, so each customer is an individual, obviously, and they need to consider what's right for them. So you can take comprehensive cover that covers everything and then some more with additional value-added benefits from the list I mentioned. Or you could just select specific covers like fire and storm damage. You might feel that is more important. Or on the motor vehicle side, it might be your very first car that you've just bought. The car's not worth that much, but what if you were liable for other damages to other people? Then third-party insurance would be absolutely critical.
I think the most important part of the process is educating yourself first off and speaking to someone who does know something about that landscape, if you will. What is the first step? What should I be thinking about when I approach car and home insurance?
Okay, so most clients immediately look at the price. How much is it going to cost me? But I think it's so important that you also look at the benefits, what you're covered for, and then also what you're not covered for. Mm-hmm. Often, with vehicle insurance as an example, it's covered on a named driver basis. So you need to check with your insurer to make sure, do I have to tell you who's going to be driving my vehicle, or will it be covered if anybody drives my vehicle? So that's the first thing. And I think then secondly, you must also consider the excesses. So the excess is the first amount that you are personally responsible for. And say the excess is 5,000 Rand, then anything under 5,000 Rand wouldn't be covered, and you would have to pay those damages. Over 5,000, it would then be covered, but the first 5,000 is what you're responsible for. And often, the insurers increase the excess to reduce the premium.
When is the right time to consider car and home insurance?
I think the right time is the moment you've purchased the asset. The moment you buy that new cell phone. What happens if you drop it? Is it going to be covered?
We're walking around with 20,000 Rand cell phones now.
Exactly. And then will you have 20,000 Rand to replace it?
Yeah.
And if you think, no, but it's okay because it's financed, that doesn't remove you from the responsibility because the bank is still going to want you to repay them. So it's so critical that the moment you purchase a new property, you consider the insurance. And insurance won't be top of mind because it's a grudge purchase. You think it's never going to happen. But when it does happen, you just don't want to regret it.
And obviously most banks out there that are helping you on the finance, it'll be a prerequisite. You won't get those keys unless there is insurance. So I think that's a good starting point to speak to your bank as well to get advice, speak to an advisor in that space. But I think most importantly, speak to a broker who knows that landscape, can help you design something that's the right fit financially, but can also just highlight, reinforce those pitfalls and those areas that we often overlook because we're so excited. The fine print, it's all in the fine print. Charmaine, thank you so much for continuing my education. Hopefully you you are thinking about those big questions. I know often very difficult things to broach, but you ultimately want the peace of mind that your home and your car will be covered in the event of theft or damage or any of these unforeseen circumstances. And if you'd like a car and home insurance quote that matches your needs and your lifestyle, then SMS insure to 31492. You'll get a call back and a quote. And most importantly, as a nice added bonus, once you've got that quote, after sending that SMS, you stand the chance of winning a state-of-the-art Samsung S10 smartphone. Just don't break it and get it insured. So get that quote today, and remember that all of the terms and conditions do apply.
Get an insurance quote and stand a chance to win one of 6 Samsung S10 smartphones. Simply SMS the keyword insure to 31492 for a callback and quote, and you could be a winner.